What a win here tonight for Game 29 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season against the Tampa Bay Lightning. And now, I know that this is probably not the most exciting game, but I would argue very similar to what we saw on Saturday night against Montreal in terms of style of play. It really just one of the biggest differences in this one here tonight was they didn't take off the entire second period and then decide, okay, we'll come back here in the third and try to figure things out. This was pretty close to a full 60. You got great goaltending here tonight. Sure, there were a couple of decent chances that were given up here tonight to Tampa that they just couldn't capitalize on, whether it was because they weren't able to or if it was because Dennis Hildeby stood up and made some great saves. But I mean, this is where I just don't know where this show will go as we go through the postgame here tonight, but it's kind of where I was at on Saturday. It's kind of where I'm at here tonight. This is a much better game. I know it's not that exciting. It's not that fun to watch in terms of like lots of goals being scored or anything like that. But if you're talking about playing proper hockey, playing the right way, playing a style and a brand of hockey that is going to be beneficial to you and can provide you some type of success in the postseason when things get heavier, when things get tighter, I think that this is where you're at, where it's like, this is the proper way to play games. Like, this is how you're going to have to grit things out and how you're going to have to get through to get to the playoffs, to win yourself points along the way here, especially against Atlantic Division opponents. If you're going to try to get through here, not hand points out by going to overtime, going to shootouts against some of these other teams, like, yeah, sure. It's just it's a bland kind of game where it's a 2-0 finish, but this is an unbelievable game for the Maple Leafs here tonight. This is exactly the style of hockey you want to play. There's still some stuff that you can clean up in this one, but this is a step in the right direction. This is right brand of hockey. This is the way things should be played, and this is kind of what you were expecting from these guys when you watched how they built them at the beginning of the season. Now, sure, there's guys who have hands in this all the way around who probably have made mistakes. Berube, Tree Living, guys who were brought in, the way guys were playing, whatever it may be. But this is a solid defensive game here tonight. You got the goaltending finally. You're getting guys from the first line down to the fourth line who are stepping up, elevating their play, who are contributing, and it doesn't have to be contributing by point production at this point. Like, this is contributing because they are making positive impacts on the game. You watch the things guys like Scott Laughton are doing, Dakota Joshua does tonight, guys like Matthew Knies who can continue to do, John Tavares sacrificing a body to make a play, Jake McCabe, Simone Benoit, who I thought had another good game, Troy Stetcher, who I thought looked good alongside McCabe. Like, this is a great game for this Maple Leafs team here, and something that I think everybody across Leafs Nation should be happy about walking away from this one, and should be looking at and being like, there is something positive going on in that room. Whether it's sustainable or not, I'm not entirely sure, but there are things happening and things that are moving in the right direction right now. Things that Leafs fans and Leafs Nation should be proud of with that fucking win over Tampa Bay here tonight. 2-0 win. Obviously, the second goal comes off of an empty netter, but just a lot of positive and good things all the way around that I'm really happy with here tonight. So, I want to hear from you guys in the chat. I want to know what you guys have to say about this one. I want to know how you guys feel about this game, about the way the team is trending, your positives, your negatives, your hot takes, all of that and more. And I will send the link to call into the post game here. We'll open it up pretty quickly on this one tonight, but I'll send it in 1 second. Before I get there, I just want to remind people as well, before we continue further on into the post-game show here tonight. Tonight's show, as always, is a presentation of Bet365. As well, if you want to get your super chats in, you want to get your questions, your comments, your concerns, your excitements, whatever it is that you're feeling, if you want it on the show here tonight, send in your super chats. Proceeds from our super chat do go to Sick Kids Charity. Number 1 children's hospital in Canada, number 3 in North America. We raised a ton of money last season, all from you guys in the chat participating here and sending in your questions, your thoughts, all of that here on the post-game show. So you got your super chats in. We will answer them. I'm also going to read through the chat, go back and forth with the chat, what you guys are thinking. But before I go further, and get to posting these things and get to the super chat, there's one thing I want to point out, because I said it a couple times, like maybe this wasn't the most exciting win for people. And Robert Smith has taken exception to this, calling me out, saying I'm watching a different game. I'm not saying me. I'm saying I read on social media, boring game, boring game, boring game. I'm saying I read in the chat before I came in here, boring game, whatever. So I'm just pointing that out, that there are people right now who seem to believe that this was not the most exciting game. I'm pointing that fact out. I don't agree with that, because I love what I saw here tonight. Like, I enjoyed that style of hockey. I enjoyed what I saw from the Maple Leafs. I enjoyed the way that they played. So I'm not in that boat. I'm just pointing it out, saying I know there's people who don't agree and don't feel that that was the most exciting. And it dates back to last year. There was a lot of people who felt that in some of the games they got through last year, where it was like, this isn't fun anymore. It's because Sheldon Keefe's not here, and it's because they have to play this boring tree-living Berube style, and we don't get to watch fun. And it's like, well, do you want to have fun, or do you want to fucking win? Because I think winning is more fun than just like scoring and that. But like I'm on the page of this. To me was fun tonight, and this to me is the way I want to see them play every single game until the end of the season. So I'm fucking all in on this style of hockey. I'm all in on this game here tonight. The pace, the brand of hockey, all of it. Like, this was a complete effort from start to finish from these guys that I really enjoyed. So, Greg Knight, people got spoiled watching losing hockey. This is how you win cups. Yeah, that's more so my point, is like, there seems to be a lot of people who felt like the way that we wanted to watch games go, and we wanted to play games, and were pissed off that games aren't being played that way, was they wanted to see the 6-5 shootout. You know what? Everybody can have their own opinion. Everybody can enjoy everything, but whatever. It's your perspective. But my point is, that's not going to win. This style of hockey tonight is going to win. Up and down the ice, fast pace, shut everything down, tight on either end, good chances, good in transition, good on breakouts, physical brand of hockey, everybody sticking up for each other, everybody buying in, putting bodies on the line. Like, this was a pretty fun game, in my opinion, for what we saw tonight. I'm setting the link in the chat if anybody wants to call in here tonight to the post-game show. Let's address this right now. There's a question from Katniss in the chat. I missed the McMann chop. Was it bad? Bad is subjective, I guess. And I think that's the right word to be using in this case. Bad is up to you, if that's whatever you want to call it. In terms of ability to cause injury, probably not. Bad as in deserving of a match penalty, yeah. He had two hands on his stick above his head and cracked Bjorkstrand over the head. It was not that hard. I don't think that he was trying to like break the guy's helmet open or kill the man, but he definitely hit him over the top of the helmet with two hands on his stick. His stick was also up in the air above his head. You have to call that a match penalty. This is one thing I'm not willing to debate with the chat about whether or not he's got to be kicked out. If you want to have a conversation about it being bad or not, or if it being aggressive or him trying to hurt the guy, that's completely fair. I got no issues with that. I'm probably going to lean more so towards the side of people who are going to say, yeah, it wasn't that aggressive. It wasn't that hard. He didn't hurt the guy. Sure, I'm on that page. Like, in the grand scheme of things, supplemental discipline-wise, I'm with you. I don't think that this goes too much further. You got to kick a guy out who hits a guy over the head with a two-hander over the head. You just have to. Like, there's no leeway on that one. You cannot allow that. I don't think it's suspension worthy, but you can't allow that because that opens the door to so much more as the game progresses on, and it allows so much more opportunity for Tampa to do something and be like, well, remember when you didn't do that. The refs hand out the 5 on the Gonzalez knee. Fair play. Kick out Bobby McMann on that one. Fair play. Bobby probably gets fined. Gonzalez probably gets fined. We all move on. That's the end of the conversation. Good with that there. But I just want to make it clear. And like Ike is saying, you can crush him in the face and stay. I don't think they can review that after. The refs saw the slash over the head initially. Whether you like it or not, they saw it over the head. They saw Bobby McMann slash the guy. At which point, you got to call it. It's just the way the NHL works, guys. It's player protection. It's player safety. You have to fucking call it. You cannot allow that guy to stay in the game. It's a stick over the head, man. Can't do it. All right, let's get to some of the super chats that we have here because some of them are piling up here right now. So I want to make sure I get to those and don't let this thing go too far. First super chat of the night. This one comes in as it's just loading up. This one comes in from our guy, Vintage Joe Hill. Joe says, Leafs played the type of game they needed to against a team like Tampa. Great PK and just needling them all game long. Great playoff style game. Again, I know people disagree with me here, but I think that was similar to what you saw in the first period on Saturday night, as well as kind of the latter half of the third period on Saturday night. I think that that's the kind of hockey that you played on Thursday against Carolina, the kind of hockey you played on Tuesday against Florida. Like, you're starting to put together a string of this here where it's not turning into a fluke anymore, where it's a one-off style of this brand. Like, you're at least showing that you've got this ability to you and you have this within you to buy in and play this style of hockey. And the one thing I think is the most important in all of this is the coach didn't change. The players more or less did not change. The systems they're playing did not change. The one thing that's the most frustrating of all of it, because I'm with people in saying, and I was right there in suggesting Craig Berube could be done earlier on when they were on that string of losses, and more so the reason was because of the voice, and maybe it was time to shake things up and get a new voice in there, get somebody else to have a fresh perspective, whatever. But the systems and stuff didn't change. The coach didn't change. The one thing that has changed is the effort, which is a fucking infuriating thing to have to look at and say about professional athletes. Like, these are a group of professional athletes making millions and millions of dollars. And if there's one clear thing from start to finish, so far, if you were to look at the body of work from game 1 to 29, just looking at that sample size, it's the effort. Like, there was a very clear lack of interest in playing this style, in playing physical, in buying into this brand of hockey that was holding them back. Now, maybe they don't want to meet Berube full the way there. Maybe there's going to be some working through this as the season goes on, but you're already seeing the rewards of them starting to play a much tighter, cleaner brand of hockey. You're seeing the defensive zone get tidied up. You're seeing a goaltender's life get made easier. Yes, obviously there's times where your goaltender has to bail you out, but you're fucking allowed to. Like, your goaltender is a guy on the ice who is allowed to make that impact. He plays 60 minutes a night. He's one of the most important people on the ice. So why are we complaining if a goaltender steps up and makes saves that he maybe shouldn't? If he makes saves in big moments and robs guys and gets his team in a better position, why is that a problem? Why is that something we have to complain about as a fan base, that the goaltender is making these saves? He's allowed to. He steps up. Woll, Hildeby, now you're on this run here because you're getting contributions from those guys. Better PK. Guys like Scott Laughton stepping in, help out with your penalty kill. Guys like Nic Robertson finding their footing and getting back into the game. Like, you watch those guys here tonight. You watch the way that they're playing. You watch that style. as you're seeing from Joe Hill here on the Super Chat, great PK, needling them all game, playoff style of hockey. It's all those other guys buying in and figuring out that brand of hockey that you're starting to see it from. Joe says needling them all game long. Early in the first period, it's John Tavares who, I can't remember. I have it written down who the player was that gets in the front. Yanni Gourde goes to the front of the net and pokes at Dennis Hildeby, and it's John Tavares as the first guy in there putting him in a headlock. Like, how often are you watching John Tavares putting guys in a headlock? Like, you see Johnny T putting a guy in a headlock, it's going to ripple through the rest of the lineup. Sure, at some point, you probably want to see Matthews do it. Maybe once in a while, you want to see William Nylander have a screw go loose. Nikita Kucherov is very capable of doing that at times, which is somebody that I would point to for Leafs fans who say, why would he do that? He's a skill guy. There's guys on other teams, like the one we played tonight, who have Stanley Cups, who will have that moment happen. And I think just them showing that intensity, showing that fire, showing that passion gets you to a point where it's like, okay, fuck, Johnny T's doing it. Here's the skill guy. Here's a leader. Here's a guy who puts up points like crazy. We can get behind this. We can fucking do that too. We can play that style. We can buy in. Because if you look beside you and the guy who's over a point per game, he's top 50 in the league in scoring. He's a guy you're relying upon every single night to drag you in the fight. He's got 500 career goals. He was the captain of the team a couple of years ago. Like, when you look at that guy doing that, you go, I can get behind that and I could do that. Because then when you look at the other guys and if you watch them, they all start to buy in. Jake McCabe throwing massive hits. Benoit throwing massive hits. Dakota Joshua fighting here tonight. Like, you see these guys step up. It's exciting to watch. It's exciting for them to be a part of. And then you could tell that the more they do this, the more that they buy into this, the better they become as a team, the tighter they become as a team, the more likely they are to have success as the season goes on. One more super chat here before I get to what we have as the callers, because I see a bunch of people loading in. And to all of you guys who are waiting right now in the waiting room to call in, I did not forget about you, and I won't forget about you. We'll get to all of it. But quick note here as well. One more super chat, and for every 50 likes on the post-game show, it's something I've done for a long time. I think it was actually you guys in the chat who wanted it done, and then me and my buddy Goody, when we first started the show, ordered the smelling salts for fun for like a playoff run the first year that they beat Tampa, and we ended up having the smelling salts like the whole season, and then ended up doing smelling salts on the show, and it just became a bigger part of the show. But they've stuck with me, and you guys in the chat seem to like it and seem to want it. So you send or you hit that like button every set of 50, 100, 150, 200, 250 if we get there. We will do smelling salts on the post-game show. So hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel. Here are the smelling salts. There you go. There's the smelling salts. Okay. Next super chat, and then I'll get to the callers. B. Khalid with the super chat. Again, super chats do go, proceeds from our super chat do go to Sick Kids Charity. B. Khalid, wide Willie pass on that 2-on-1. Power play sucks. Go Leafs, go. Yeah, weird moment there. I was yelling at the TV, which I feel like normally I'm not the shoot it guy. Like, I'm not the guy standing up screaming, shoot. But that was a, what the hell are you doing? Shoot the fucking puck moment. Because they, late in the third period, you've got a chance. It's the guy, you know what? You got to call for what it is. Undeniably, William Nylander is the best goal scorer on this team now. I'm sorry, Auston Matthews, but until you show me otherwise, William Nylander has taken your crown as the best goal scorer on this team. Last year, I passed it off as him being injured, as him battling through something. This year, you're either injured and choosing to not get healthy, you're either injured and it's never going to recover and this is who you are, or you're not injured and you're just not the goal scorer anymore. But for the time being, William Nylander is the best goal scorer on this team. He's coming down the ice with the puck on a 2-on-1, and I'm thinking, oh fuck, Nylander's going short side here because this is what William Nylander does, and he opts to pass that thing after like holding and holding and holding. I'm sorry, Jonas Johansson is not a very good goaltender. And it's not to say that if you or me were to come down on him on a 2-on-1, we're beating him with a clean shot. But William Nylander, who can score on the best of the best, he could for sure fucking get the better of Jonas Johansson. I could not believe that he does not come down and take that shot. That to me is a what are you doing? And I'm sure Craig Berube watching that is going to have a word with William Nylander after and be like, dude, you're the guy saying, give me the puck. What are you doing trying to pass it? Anyways, wild one. I couldn't believe he did that. I saw a question. Zach, are you faking the salts? No, I am definitely not. All right, let's get to our first caller of the night here, and let's open up the call lines because I want to know what you guys have to say here tonight. Let's go to Mando on the line. Mando, do we got you there?
Yep. Hi, Zach.
Mando, how are you tonight?
I'm great. How you doing?
Doing pretty well here. Feel good about this win, and it's not just the fact that they won here tonight, Mando. It's the way they played. I felt like this was a strong game. I felt like this is another step in the right direction. And you look at this the standings board right now, and the Leafs just continue to climb their way up as of right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. They're like two points behind the first place team in the East. That's unbelievable. That's it. Just
Unbelievable.
goes to show. It goes to show like the whole division is just screwed up. I mean, everyone's struggling in phases, and that's what we have right now.
Yep,
Um,
that's fair.
what I thought of before I came on is I had a list of things. So like a checklist of things that has gone wrong for the Leafs. So if you go from PK to to the power play to 5-on-5 defense, 5-on-5 offense. So almost all the categories in the beginning, and then goaltending. All the categories were red X's, red X's. So we're slowly checking off all of the problems of October, November, let's say, except for
Yep.
maybe during October, November, we had John Tavares and William Nylander scoring at will. You could say the offense was okay. So we checked everything off. We got good PK, good 5-on-5, both defensively and offensively. The only thing that's still not is a big red X is the power play. My God, like I don't know what they have to do. There's a big red X on the power play. If they can figure that out, you know what? There's a complete team. The other thing is Hildeby. I don't know how lucky we are as Leafs fans that we have a legit NHL goaltender. That's what I feel. Now, it's not it hasn't been a huge string of games, but if you look at what he accomplished from training camp, he looked different and he looked much better. Last year he was not good. Like we all saw it. I think he had 3 games, or I don't know what the number was, but he did not look great last year. This year Hildeby is a legit NHL guy. So there's huge upside for this development, in my opinion. Hildeby is a uh, big revelation for me, anyways.
Yeah.
So it's looking good. It's looking good. They're like you said, they're playing the right way. They learn to play defensively as a unit. Great sticks. Troy Stetcher with a two-handed tomahawk that led to the 2-on-1. Matthews is better. He had more than 5 shots on goal. He got robbed by the shaft of the goalie's stick. So that was a lucky situation there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Matthews definitely played better. Nylander is still like you just mentioned. Why isn't he shooting? I think there's a confidence issue. He should have shot that, and he's just not effective still. So hopefully that
Nylander's the
that
one
turns
guy I
around.
would say. I would say Nylander's the one guy I would find it hard to believe for the most part that that he lacks confidence. Everything else, I'm pretty much with you on here. There's some stuff I would go back and forth and dig into, but Nylander's the one guy I would say for the most part just doesn't lack confidence. So that's where I push back. But let's pause here for a sec, because I know you got a bunch of stuff that you just laid out, and maybe some more. But so to start, let's go to Dennis Hildeby, because the power play and shit we can get into. That's a big thing. But let's go to Dennis Hildeby. To start, Dennis Hildeby, there was a lot of concern about Dennis Hildeby coming into this season. Let's call it what it is. There was a very clear lack of trust from Craig Berube to Dennis Hildeby to start this season, and this is one where I will defend Craig Berube on, because I know a lot of people are going to say, give kids chances, give them chances, give them chances. This is an idiot coach. Why is he not? No. That's not a fair assessment of Craig Berube when it comes to the Dennis Hildeby situation, because the reality is Dennis Hildeby did not have a very great year last year. Did not give Craig Berube too much to be able to trust when it came to that. And then you also have to understand he's looking at Joseph Woll and Anthony Stolarz last season, who gave him a great year when they were healthy. And then you look at Dennis Hildeby, who came in, he didn't look comfortable, he didn't look confident, he was shaky, he let in some bad goals, he had a couple nights where he just got lit up. Now, obviously, some of that is the team giving up in front of him, but there was an element where it was just the team battling Hildeby. And, I'm not trying to dig into the past or rip on Hildeby, but the reality is that you are looking at Dennis Hildeby last season. It was a little bit shaky. So now you go into this year and you're kind of wondering, okay, what improvements has he made to get himself into a point of confidence? Now, I'm not saying he had a bad preseason, but he didn't really do anything in this preseason to be like, holy shit, he's arrived, And so for him to start that way, where it was just kind of like vanilla, I would say, which it's hard to evaluate for a goaltender, but it was like, okay, you let in some bad ones, you made some good ones, but it was just here and there. Like it was ups and downs for Hildeby in the preseason, which you do take with a grain of salt because it is preseason, I get it. But then you get yourself into the regular season, and it's Anthony Stolarz who started well. The team did not, but you're watching Anthony Stolarz who starts well. You give Hildeby one go, and it's the game against Columbus, really, where like it stands out as this awful game. The confidence dips again. Now here you're seeing, this was probably both sides. Hildeby is in a position where he knows the coach doesn't have confidence in him. He's just got to go in there anyways. The team's not playing well in front of him. He's not feeling great about himself. The team's not feeling great about themselves, and it's a bad combination. Now you get yourself to a point here at 29 games into the season. It's up to Hildeby. He seems to be taking this in stride, and the team's playing better in front of him. So it's just like a mixture of everything going right, where Hildeby starts to show you some more positives, even in some not so great efforts, even in some losing efforts, even in relief. Like you're watching him come in some of these games. You think about the game against Montreal 2 weeks ago, where he comes in relief of Joseph Woll. He had an outstanding third period. Like you see some of those. The game against Carolina on Thursday when Joseph Woll leaves, Hildeby comes in, plays amazing in the third period. Like there's confidence building opportunities, and you're starting to see his game elevate. You're starting to see the team play more confidently in front of him. You're seeing them play better, which naturally helps him. Again, back to it, but it's a concoction of good things that are happening for Dennis Hildeby. So I'm with you there. What was the other thing that you brought up there? I went on a tangent about Dennis Hildeby, Mando. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I even forgot.
Fair. So the Willie confidence thing is the one.
Yeah, Willie. Yep.
Yeah. I just disagree with the confidence, but something's going on right now. I wonder if it's just another one of these like Nylander slumps that we see, and maybe we're just making too much of it because like the highs were so high to start this season, where the point production was just like out of control, to where you're at now, where you've now seen the guy go 0 goals in the last 5 games, and we're like, is this guy broken? Is something wrong with him? I wonder if there's just an element of him coming back off this sickness, if it really took that much out of him. There's potentially part of it there. I'm not trying to really give excuses, but just maybe speculating a little bit. The other part is it could just be a Nylander slump. I don't know. But I just disagree that he doesn't have the confidence to do it, because I think that's like the most confident human being I've ever seen put on skates.
Yeah, and hopefully it'll start landing for him. It's the same thing for Matthews. Even though he had, I thought, a better game, better effort. He was unlucky, like I said, with that one shot that went off the shaft. The goalie was really lucky. The one 2-on-1 where he shot low, I think he was trying to go, the 5 hole. Um, you know, that one, I don't know. I didn't. It looked like a hard shot. It looked like it was, pretty a pretty good shot. But again, there were some instances where there was another. I can't remember when, but Matthews had a really good chance in the slot, and he tried to pass it again. I'm not sure. I think it was in the third.
Yep, it
Uh,
was in the third. It was on a 3-on-2. He was the puck carrier across the blue line, and he hit Knies on a drop pass like 3 feet behind him. Yeah,
yeah.
I know exactly what play you're talking about.
So there's ups and downs. Generally though, if they continue to play like this is really good, and they don't have Tanev yet back. So once that's gonna be even better when Tanev comes back.
Hmm.
Um, Other than that, our buddy Pontus, he didn't score, which is good.
Nope. But yeah, no goals for Pontus.
Was that was a Rosie special, right?
Yeah.
He made up
Hello,
that funny
Pontus.
name.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's funny.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, so one thing I'll say about Matthews here.
yep.
The one concerning thing, which this is gonna piss off, like Jimmy 2 times in the chat is getting annoyed. I saw somebody else there get mad, and Mubius was also saying us being negative. I'm not trying to be negative here. It's the reality of my assessment. Like I'm coming on here and telling you what I think. It's not necessarily trying to be the most positive or whatever. Like, I'm telling you what I think about the game. That's all this is. It's my opinion of it. My only worry with Matthews, and I know this will piss some people off, and I'm sorry, and I know he's playing well, and I know he's getting those chances like you said. My concern, Mando, is that he's not scoring on them. And in the traditional sense, I would look at a guy like that and be like, it will come, it's going to come. The problem I'm having now, and I'm not saying it won't come, my only thing is there's doubt that starts to creep in with it long term, where this is now, even last season, he was getting chances later on in the year, more specifically than earlier, because earlier you could see it was a step back, but later in the year, chances were coming, and he just couldn't find a way to bury. This year, again, chances are coming, just can't find a way to bury, and it's like, okay, is it coming? And if it is, when? Because we're now at a point where we're like waiting for that to break through. And you look at some of these games, this one tonight, Saturday against Montreal, he only had one shot, but like if that offense ramps up, if he produces a little bit more, we're probably looking at some easier wins for this team, or some more points throughout the beginning of the season for this team. So again, I'm not trying to harp on the guy, and I'm not trying to bring a negative out of this one. It's just like, one goal on the power play, those points aren't necessarily coming. Those goals aren't necessarily coming at 5-on-5. That's where the concern starts to step in, where it's like, hey, this isn't just a 29-game sample size. This is now dating back to last season. So that's where my concern comes in. But otherwise, Mando, I agree with you about the way he played.
Yeah, and the main thing is the whole team in general. They've played the right way. They have to figure
Yep.
out the power, the PP, to have any success in the playoffs. And if they do that and they continue playing like this, then I think it's looking good. Jake McCabe was awesome. Uh, Physically, all the defense, like Stetcher is continuing to impress.
Yep.
Uh, Mermis, he got injured, so I don't remember him doing anything good or bad. We had a Riley donut, not a donut. What do you call it? The pizza. He did a backhand along the wall. Yeah, I have these moments in my house when I yell no, like really loud. Then you know that there's a giveaway in our defensive zone. and I yelled it both 3 times. So that's not bad. But the one I remember was Rielly just they were doing a soft pass along the board, and they got hemmed in. They were lucky they got out of that
Yeah.
situation, but that's Rielly, right? I mean, he's always there's always something to be left desire to be desired,
Yeah.
from him, and sometimes he does that.
Yep. Mando, I'm with you on that one. The backhand was certainly something else, and I'll talk about the power play throughout the rest of the show here tonight, and I'm sure some people who are going to call in after you will also
Yep.
want to discuss some of these things. So I appreciate your call here. Appreciate you jumping on, whether it's in the
No problem.
in the post game, in the chat, if it's here on the call, all of that. So thank you for the support. Thanks for calling in. Enjoy the rest of your night, and look forward to seeing you in the chat.
Thanks for having me, Zach. Talk to you later.
There you go. Mando jumping on here on the post-game show. Thanks to Mando for joining. We've got a couple more people that I want to get to, which we will get to in a moment. Before we get to the next callers, just a couple quick things that I want to do. First, starting with some of the super chats, because some massive ones have come in here. So next one comes in from Robert Betts. Robert, thank you for the super chat. Says, just watching Hildeby play, he's always in the right spot at the right time. He's not cheating plays, calm, standing on his own. Goaltenders usually take longer to develop, but at 24 years, in my opinion, future Vezina Trophy winner. Wow. We've got an early Vezina Trophy winner prediction from Robert Betts on the super chat. $20 super chat from Robert here. I think that's aggressive. We're watching a small sample size of Dennis Hildeby looking elite, I guess you could say. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I don't want to curse the guy here early into his career where he's just starting to figure things out at the NHL level. But I mean, look, and this is not me endorsing the entire Vezina conversation, but what I will say is this is a guy who's had success for the most part throughout his career, whether it was in the Swedish league, if he was making his way over into the American league, and now seems to be finding some type of success here at the NHL level. So who the hell knows what he turns out to be? He's a massive body who moves really well. He does seem to have a calm demeanor about him. It seems to be never get too high, never get too low. Nothing bothers him too much. His presence back there feels calming, even as a fan just watching on TV. So I'll give him that. I don't know what it turns into. Vezina Trophy winner is a bold claim by Robert. I appreciate the $20 super chat there. Proceeds going to Sick Kids charity, but bold claim. Bold claim on the Hildeby Vezina campaign at this point in his career. One more super chat here before I get to the next caller. And a reminder, we're 15 likes away from more smelling salts. But Vintage Joe Hill. Matthew Knies threw Sebastian Aho off of him one-handed and scored a goal 4 days ago. Knies haters here need to chill. I don't know. I didn't see any Knies haters. If there was Knies hate going on in the chat, I've completely missed it. So that's on me. If anybody calls in and has any hate or wants to get to that, then sure, by all means, I'm willing to hear it. I will disagree with you because I can't imagine a situation here where there's any hate that should be directed towards Matthew Knies at all. I don't know what he would have done tonight or over the last little while that warrants that. So I don't know where that's coming from or why. I don't know how that's happening, but yeah, I mean, I'm with you that you got to chill if you are a Knies hater. Okay, next caller here on the line. Let's get to our guy with an electric call, by the way, that did some rounds on social media. They got posted the other day on the Leafs Nation's accounts, and for good reason. It was a pretty electric, fired up call from our guy, Patrick G. Mafia. Patrick, we got you there.
Yeah, what's up, Zach? How's your night going?
It's going pretty well. I feel good about this game. I feel good about the win.
Same.
I'm looking at the standings here now, 2 points back of first place. All things are looking up when it comes to the Toronto Maple Leafs right now here, Patty G.
Yeah, just like I said, kind of, with the Carolina game, like when you play that brand of hockey, their shoulders will slump and they're like, oh shit, we can't score on this guy. And, we can't get past the red line. We can't get past the blue line. And then once you get through that wave, then you got the freaking 6'7", 6'7" Hildeby out there just ready to shut you down. So really happy with what I saw again tonight. Stecker clears the puck at 15:23. Kind of in hindsight, he saved the game. So, I noticed all night Stecker's breakout passes, other than the last 5-10 minutes of the game, were really good. So, no, he's just been a delight. We're so happy to have him. Edmonton definitely fumbled the bag there, and we'll pick him up, no problem, off the waivers. But, no, Stecker was awesome. In the beginning of the game, I put Cowan AHL, a mystery, and I put a Y and I put a no. And I'm like, at the end of this game, I'm going to know if this guy can play at the NHL level. And I said no. So I think Cowan is definitely an NHL player. He had that lucky pass, that little drop pass from JT to create the goal. And he fluttered the puck to Cowan fluttered the puck to Rielly. And Rielly with the backhand, boom, put it away. So really happy with that. And on the pregame for Prime
Wait. Let's unpack this, because I
I
know you've got more and I want to hear it.
I got the game notes here, so that's
yeah. Let's go through the whole game notes. Let's go through the whole game notes. But let's stop here and there. Let's break these down.
Yeah. Okay,
so
you break it
say down. I want to make sure you said. Also, I'm just going to correct you quickly. Not trying to be an ass, but Stetcher, not Stecker.
Stecker. Yeah, I always call him Stecker. I don't know. I just
I do that. Good. I just letting you know, because chat's pointing it out.
Stetcher there.
Stetcher. Okay, so to answer this question, you said no, Cowan's not an NHL player?
No, Cowan is I said Cowan AHL player.
Okay.
Yes or no? Cowan. I said no. He is an NHL player.
I understand. Yeah. Okay.
Chief trusts him. Like he does back check, and I like a two-way game. I respect that out of Cowan. He was kind of a little hard on himself in the first period, but no, he's definitely an NHL player.
Here's the other thing I'm going to say. I don't know if people love this. I don't mind. The more I watch this, I don't mind if he plays on the fourth line and he's a guy who can help you on your fourth line. Right. As the season progresses, let me be clear. I'm not talking about tomorrow. I'm not talking about the next game on Thursday or I'm putting it in there right away. As the season progresses, as you get further along, as you get into playoffs, if you do so make it, which at this point here now, you're creeping into the conversation. But if you get there, I don't mind that. The whole point, though, would be you can't be playing the guy for 82 games of the year for 8 minutes in the NHL level and be expecting him to develop or grow confidence. That's where I will side with people who say send him to the AHL. I think that's a fair argument. I've started to come around on this.
I see both sides.
Watching this team, and I'm starting to think if he can play, even if he goes on the fourth line, which right now I still prefer him in the top 6, but even if he can play on your fourth line and he can play 10 to 12 to 14 minutes, depending on what that bottom line is getting when it comes to what Berube is willing to give them and who he's matching them up against. Sure. I think you're in a good position, and I think he can learn to be a pro. I'm sorry to go back to this caveman hard head style of coaching and
that was
development.
My first call.
No. I'm in agreement here with you, and what I'm going to say is how did guys used to break into the league? Guys weren't handed the keys to the Ferrari.
Yeah.
You had to work your way through things. Sure, there were guys who would come up and they just fit into your top 6 and they work. But how many guys had to battle their asses off playing on a third line, a fourth line until they could show they were a top 6 guy? How many guys had to earn their minutes through those things and show that they can do that? Easton Cowan, maybe he's just got to fight his way through it. And to point back to it, and I'm not trying to draw parallels here directly, but Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou were on the St. Louis Blues Stanley Cup winning team. They were not playing.
You play with
on the
Robert,
first
right?
line.
You play with Robert, right?
I did, yeah. When we were playing minor hockey,
cool.
But
cool.
they were on the fourth line. Robert Thomas was playing with Patrick Maroon on the fourth line in St. Louis. There, that kid has turned out to be an kid. I played with him. And that guy's turned out to be an unbelievable player in the NHL. Like, there's nothing to say that you can't learn to do the right things, the little things, play the game the right way to earn those minutes. So I don't know. The more I watch it, the more I'm
They're rubbing off on him, Zach.
The more I'm inclined to keep him up here and be like, hey, as long as he's not playing if he dips below 10 minutes a night regularly, fucking cut it off. Sure, no problem. Send him to the Marlies. Go play 25. Yeah, no issue. But right now, I'm good with keeping him here and let him develop however it is.
Yeah, totally. I'm happy with Cowan. He got a little lucky, like I said, with that pass. But hey, you got to be lucky. You got to be good to be lucky, right? So he did. You got to be lucky to be good. Rielly kind of made him look good. Exactly. You got to be lucky to be good, right? And I was watching the Prime, and they said Tanev's going to be back soon, and that's kind of good because Mermis got hurt there. I'll go later on and about that. I'll speak about that later on. I'll try to be as fast as I can for the other callers.
No, you're good, man. You're good.
Tanev's looking like he looked fast. He was skating well. And that's nice to see. I believe that in the first period, the shots were 15-9 in shots, and the Leafs came out a little too slow for my liking. That's why we had Stetcher there. There it is. Didn't say Stecker. Stetcher there. He kind of saved the day. And but the breakout passes they needed to be better, and that's kind of the tale of the story with the Leafs. We got to be a little faster out of our own end. And I liked in the second period how we didn't kind of rush. We kind of waited behind the net. If we didn't see anything, we turned back around. That's good hockey. Matthews was doing that a lot, and I think the other guy saw that. And JT had a great game too. But McCabe looked slow in the beginning, but I believe every period he got a little better, if that makes sense. What do you think about McCabe tonight?
Dude, so let's go to breakouts first, because I only have a small little thing to talk about, and then I'll go to your McCabe point. So breakouts, it's been a problem all year. I'm with you. Yeah. And there were points tonight where I'm like banging my head against the wall being like, oh my God, like Tampa's not a team you can allow yourself to get trapped and pinned down in, because they bring pressure hard. They bring it quickly, and they have a lot of talent throughout that lineup from line 1 to 4 to be able to take advantage of you if you're not.
Yeah, they came out hot. They
came out ready to go. So then you're watching that and it's like, oh shit, pressure's being put on. You get pinned. You have bad breakouts. Like there's a couple of times I watched them and it's like, there was one shift early in the first period. They spent probably between 45 to like a minute trying to break out, and they were keeping it away from Tampa, and it was like good puck possession, but it's in your own zone.
They didn't break.
Yeah, finally you break it out, and then like you get to the neutral zone, you turn it over. I'm like, oh my God, this fucking team. And then they cleaned it up as the game went on. So I'm with you. It got better. It's something they got to figure out.
Of the first,
Yeah, and then let's go to the McCabe point here, though, that you brought up.
Sure.
Dude, McCabe was awesome tonight.
McCabe was awesome. Every period
I think probably fair to say, like, got better every period. He was lights out in this one. Like,
he just came out slow to me. That's all.
Yeah, that's probably a fair
first
assessment.
10 minutes,
Yeah, I would say that's probably fair. I've been looking at OEL as being the guy who, in my opinion, has been the best defenseman on this team all season long. That was
bad
like
penalty, but it's okay.
But yeah, fair. Yeah. But McCabe tonight, like, really seemed to take that personally and was like, hold my beer, watch this. He really elevated the physicality. Yeah. Closing guys on the gap, watching him step up at the blue line in the neutral zone, taking time and space away. Like, Patrick, one of the things we've been watching with this team that they've been struggling with this season has been allowing other teams to transition on them and get through the neutral zone and get into their own zone. Well, that can stop or at least be limited if you get your defenseman stepping up at the blue line.
Baby. Layers.
Yes, right. And putting pressure on and not opening up so easy and having support when Jake McCabe steps up, forwards coming back. So him to having the confidence to do that, kind of seeming like he was, quarterbacking the defense there, not necessarily with the puck, but just the way he was kind of commanding everything, moving guys around, getting guys in position. He looked fucking awesome 100%. Tonight. And I think this was his by far, Jake McCabe's best game of the season.
Nice. That's good that you saw that. I think, I guess if you don't see him, that means he's doing something right. You know what I mean? I didn't see too much McCabe other than the first period, but kind of similar to Rielly. Like, I think Rielly, like, I know he did have a couple pizzas like Mando said, but I think, like, for Rielly, bro, if we could get that game from Rielly every day, like, I'm taking that. You know what I mean? Like, he scored the goal. he wasn't after the like he wasn't really noticeable to me too. And like I'm like, hey man, Riley was good. I have no complaints with Rielly. You want to go to the second period now?
Yeah, I'll just jump in on it. No
Yeah.
complaints with Rielly. Like defensively, this is the one thing, which is hard, and I don't blame Leafs fans for being mad, and I get mad about it too. Like it's a fair thing to have. In a way, we have to like accept what he is defensively. I just mean in general, big picture. We have to accept what he is defensively. He's not great defensively.
No.
But if he can play
Rielly,
like that offensively, it can like negate some of the stuff. And by the way, if he's got OEL as his partner, it makes it all that much better because he can just clean things up as well. He can help transition pucks out of the zone. He can help clean up mistakes and put out fires. He really solidifies Rielly's game there a little bit, so that helps. And then this Rielly offensive game is kind of what we saw from him earlier on in the season when we were giving him, or I was at least giving him a little bit of praise, where it was like, he's engaged offensively. Like he's moving his feet, he's getting up ice, he's getting involved. The only thing I can say about this one just definitively for Rielly is like, I'm not with it when it comes to the power play. I do not want him on the power play. I know he had a better game tonight. I don't want him on the power play. That's
why he's on
personal.
PP too. Yeah.
But he was on PP1 tonight. He's on PP1 tonight, right? Like, I can't do that. It's got to stop. I don't know if it's OEL. I don't know if it's fucking going out and finding a guy. I don't know if it's your boy, Troy Stecker.
Stecker, the Steck man.
But I don't know if it's him. I don't know, but I don't think it's Morgan Rielly. And that backhand pizza that he threw, that was Little Caesars hot and ready. That was the Pizzaville. That's the Morgan Rielly Pizzaville ad that we saw him on last year, and when Rosie brought it up on the show. But anyways, what else you got for notes tonight?
Okay, so on the second period, the Leafs only gave up 5 shots against. So I thought that was really good. The second period was the most boring period out of the whole game. It was you know what tonight felt like? It almost felt like a preseason game to me. I don't know if it was definitely a Monday night game. It wasn't no Saturday night game. But when you have the lead, sometimes you don't poke the bear when you got the lead. That's what they did tonight. They kept it low energy, but sometimes it doesn't always have to be like rah, boom, giving like back and forth. Like it was I don't know. For me, it was kind of a slow, methodical game. That's why you're seeing a lot of, it was a boring game. It was a boring game. But when you're winning, why piss off that team? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm with you. And that's a team on the other side that has a lot of offensive ability. They got Kucherov comes back here into this game tonight. Point comes back into this game.
Well played game.
You've got those guys who step up, and it's like all of a sudden you're looking at a lot more offensive firepower for Tampa, and the Leafs found a way to suffocate them. Like they found a way to kind of slow this thing down. So I'm with you there. I'm with you.
I think the Leafs played Järnkrok tonight because they're trying to ship him, right? And he definitely should have buried on the second period there when he had that shot in front of the net. Like I don't know. He's got to be a little better. That
had to be a goal. That
as a Leafs fan,
it's an amazing save, but that you're looking at a guy who's coming into this lineup when you think about this as well. Nic Robertson versus Calle Järnkrok. The offensive upside of Nic Robertson is there far more than a guy like Calle Järnkrok.
Yeah.
Then you see that play take place, and you're like,
Robertson scoring that goal.
Yeah, is Nic Robertson scoring that one? Maybe.
Yeah. I thought Domi actually played like pretty good, other than the little bonehead move he kind of with the icing at the end of the game. I thought Domi, he skated well. He was trying to find Matthews a lot. I have no problem with Domi tonight. The PK was really good. What do you think about the PK, Zach?
I'm on the PK. I'm with you. I'm on the PK. I'm with you on the PK. That's what I meant to say. They've played a lot better, and that's a PK, or that's a power play. Sorry, with Tampa there that can cut you up. They can move the puck really well. They can find lanes when they're not even there. But when you look at guys specifically like Kucherov, Point, Hagel, those guys that get out there, all of a sudden it's like you think you're tight, you think you've got it locked down, and they're zipping pucks through your legs, finding guys back door that you didn't even realize. And they just didn't let that be the case tonight. And again, like, I know there's people in the chat who are going to get mad at me. That 6 1/3, he's going to lose his mind when he hears me say this, but Scott Laughton is a big factor from that. You look at just him.
Laughton was 62% in the faceoff zone tonight. Plus, he was
winning
awesome.
Draws, starting with the puck, whether it's late in the game there trying to defend the lead, if it's on the penalty kills, like however it is, over this stretch, he's been a massive, massive impact to. You know what it is, honestly, and it's not just the PK; it's the full body of work, 5-on-5, the 60 minutes when they've got the goalie out, whether they're and they're defending a lead, whatever. It's attention to detail. And Scott Laughton is an attention to detail guy. I'm not saying he's the leader of attention to detail on this team, but he's a guy who starts to bring that and kind of changes things. Nick Waugh, as well. I would agree with that. Yeah. Like those guys are attention to detail guys, and they've been playing with a higher level of attention to detail. And you start to see that kind of being picked up by the guys around them because it's like, well, that guy's doing it. I've got to do it too. So then play elevates, and you see them better defensively. You see them better on the penalty kill. You see them better in their own zone. You see them better when it comes to stopping transition. So, I agree. The penalty kill looked good.
How about JT off the post there in the second? That was tough, eh? We wanted that one, eh? Yeah.
You know what my roommate said to me? I thought it was kind of funny. He's like, paraphrasing effectively, but he's like, it's weird like watching JT because he's got one of the best shots of you would never expect. And it's kind of true because when you watch him, he doesn't traditionally have like that at this point in his career, I should say more so. He doesn't traditionally have like that smooth, like,
like he looks down when he shoots and you don't know where he's going. Yeah.
And he's just kind of got this like bigger, like, I think it's just like the big shoulder pads. Like it looks a little like clunky, doesn't move very fast. And then that puck snaps off of his stick. He's ringing posts and shit. And like, holy fuck, that was a great shot. I wish that thing went through the uprights, but that was a great shot. I wish that one went in.
Yeah, brother. No, just happy. Nylander, like Mando was saying, like dude needs a power bar or something like that, like, or a freaking coffee. I don't know what's going on with Nylander. Like, I don't know.
He's a vitamin
C, needs to eat
man.
a steak or something. Like, get the oranges out. You have to at the end of the period. I don't know, but he needs something. He needs something. So the third period. Oh yeah, and before the first and second period, I thought Knies and Matthews were kind of blah. That's my note. Knies 34, blah. But then in the third period, I think they upped their game. Wouldn't you say?
Yes, I would. I thought that they brought some intensity tonight. What I would say with those guys is, again, this is to the point of where when we get in wars every now and then here on the postgame show, where it's like they do all the things well, the little things, and the 200-foot game, and all that kind of stuff. Knies, not as much as Matthews. He's not as much in this conversation as Matthews is, but those guys you need to produce offensively. You just need them to take more offensive. You produce more offensively, and you're just not getting that to the same extent right now, where it's like not that takeover dominant level that it kind of needs to be, quite frankly. Yeah. But I thought they were okay, sure. Like they were fine. I would argue that they were really aggressive in the first two periods. They just weren't kind of producing anything. I got to throw something out there. If Prague's listening, which I don't know if he is, but if Prague's listening, he's going to have a heart attack.
He's happy with Domi tonight.
I think that's where part of this disconnect is happening.
Yeah.
I don't think he's the guy to play with them. Like, no. I don't think that it fits. I don't think it works. I think that of all the experiments to happen, I think that's the one that can kind of come to an end here. You want to rotate guys through that bottom right wing position. Maybe he's got to start moving some pieces around and find a way for like Max Domi to be in your bottom six. And I don't know. Like, do you try Nic Robertson on the first line?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you put Cowan on the first line, and do you put Robertson on the second line? Like, any of those combinations, I'm fine with, as long as you keep the meat together. You know, Laughton and Lorentz, they got to stay together. That third line, do not touch it. Keep Joshua and McMann together. The second line, JT and Nylander, keep it together. Knies and Matthews, keep it together. But like, you can kind of start to now pinpoint like some little areas rather than fucking shaking the whole shit up. But
Right.
I mean, look, I'm not trying to say Max
Michelli's
Domi
not
was bad
seeing-
tonight,
Yeah, he's not seeing the
but
ice.
and Michelli, no, not getting back in here.
No.
But it's just Domi. Like, I think that you could find a better piece to go with those guys right now, and he just. I'm just not in love with the fit, man. I don't think that it was a bad game for him, Domi. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to shit on him. I just don't think he's the fit for the first line right wing.
Yeah, like I don't know, if we don't see Robertson as being that guy, like why bench him? That's the thing. Like I'm a guy who I like to sell low and buy low and sell high. Like we gotta get this guy in the lineup. I know we got okay. Maybe we want to get Trees thinking, okay, let's get Järnkrok in the fucking lineup, and then okay, then maybe we can ship him for a 4th or 5th rounder. But I don't know. Like we gotta get something. Like I get a bag of pucks for Järnkrok at the moment. I don't know. Like he did have a little hustle tonight, and he was selfish with the empty net at the end of the game too. Like he tried to score. He was so hungry to get that goal. I don't know. Maybe
well,
I
don't
looked away
have a
for a
problem
second,
with him trying
but-
to get the goal, but I have a problem with him stepping
back.
across into traffic like that. Like
Yeah.
either shoot it or make the pass. Don't
Yeah.
wait forever and ever and ever and ever and ever until the angle and the net is taken away and then try to move it. That's where I'll agree with you on that one. I don't have a problem with him trying to score, but yeah. What else you got here? I got another caller who wants to come on after, so I'm not trying to rush you, but yeah.
No, okay, yeah, sorry. So yeah, I'm just saying, Joshua, good job for sticking up for Mermis. I'll say that. Yep. Someone finally did. And McMann, you know what? McMann slapped him in the head with the stick. He's going to be out a game or two. But you know what? Now they're going to know. You want to play dirty? You're going to have to deal with us. And I really like that. Hildeby, when we were in the lead, he wasn't holding the puck. And I thought that was really, really smart. That's another good thing. Yeah. That's another thing to get under the team's skin. When you're winning, don't hold on to the puck. Drop the puck, shoot it, push the puck to the corner, let your defenseman or your winger pick up the puck. I thought that was great. First career shutout, by the way, for Hildeby and the Leafs this year. First shutout, Hildeby, my boy.
Should have brought that up, yeah.
And 2-0, 2 points out of first. Matthews gets the empty netter, and I'm happy. I'll let the other guys. I don't want to take. I spoke a lot, so I'm going to let the other guys go. Just want to say thank you, Leaf Station. And what's the socials that you put me on so I can check it out?
Oh, that all of our socials, all the Leafs Nation socials.
Okay, I'm just not much of a socials guy.
No, that's all good. But I'm just reminding. Okay. I'm reminding everybody, not just you here.
Cool, I'll check it out.
At TLNDC on Instagram and at TLNDC on Twitter. You can also search up the Leafs Nation. You'll find it. Should be the Leafs Nation on Facebook there as well, and TikTok too. So check that out, TLNDC. Okay. But just search the Leafs Nation as well, and you'll find it. You'll see the logo and everything. You'll see it all there. So make sure to check that out. But yes, your call is on there, and people are loving it, Patty G.
Should have never left, Bontus. Should have never left. All right, boys. I'll see you in the chat. Go Leafs, go. Good shit. Peace.
All right. There you go. What a call, man. Patrick G. Mafia is 2 for 2 on the electric calls here on the postgame show. 2 for 2. What a call. I know that there's people in the chat who are like, what is this guy doing? He's breaking everything down. Honestly, I enjoy it, and it entertains me. And if it's entertaining me, I think a lot of people in the chat probably find it entertaining. Maybe there's some guys who don't, but I seem to be some positive feedback for Patrick G. I enjoy the Patty G calls. More stuff to get to here. We've got another caller, and I do want to make sure we get to the next caller here on the line. But before we get there, some stuff I got to do in the chat. First of all, a lot of people bringing up Prague in the chat. Prague, if you were to search or if you were to try to summarize what the chat looks like during the course of a normal After Dark show here now, it's 50% what happened in the game. Actually, it's probably 35% what happened in the game. It's 25% what happens big picture. And then it's 40% Prague. Where's Prague? The Prague Mafia is nuts in the chat that goes on. And I bring up Prague one time, and I say, Prague's not here. and I go to the Instagram because we stream live on Instagram as well. So to all the people watching on Instagram that I can see in there right now, to all the people watching on Instagram, I was going to bring this up. And then the person who commented the original comment just commented again. But shout out to everyone watching on Instagram. Blake Brimmer, Chuck, Anti-Suit Club, Carol. Shout out to all you guys. But the one person that made me laugh and just doubled down on the comment, Queen Dreamer 85, no Prague, please. No more Prague. He is annoying. There's like 3 comments on the Instagram live. There's a bunch of people watching, and there's like 3 comments on Instagram live, and 2 of them are that. That's funny. All right, some more stuff to get to here quickly. The next super chat that comes in, proceeds from our super chat go to Sick Kids Charity. Again, thank you to everyone who likes, comments, subscribes. And a reminder, hit that subscribe button, Leafs Nation 401 right here on YouTube. But this super chat comes in from Michael. Michael says, hi, Zach. Knies and 28 first or Cowan and 28 first for Quinn Hughes. Compulsory to be this combo. Yes or no? Cheers. No, that doesn't happen. Quinn Hughes has, I'm just trying to process what that trade offer was that was just laid out. First of all, if there's way more, I think that has to go into that Quinn Hughes contract. Second of all, obviously Knies is like a piece they would love, but like I think it's probably more Cowan than a Knies. There needs to be more roster players that go because you got to open up a bunch of money. And I don't think you have enough picks to supply what Vancouver wants. Like, I saw the trade that was floated out today as like an example, a reminder to people. And there was a lot of people bringing up like Knies in the conversation about what it was for Quinn Hughes and what it would take to get Quinn Hughes. And the comparison that was brought up was Erik Karlsson, which I think is actually pretty fair to just when you look at like what trades could look like, not necessarily the player. And I don't want to go down the whole trade route here tonight, but it's a super chat in the chat, so I do want to answer it. But the trade that trade was like 4 or 5 picks, Josh Norris going to Ottawa, 4 or 5 picks, Josh Norris, who was not yet Josh Norris as he is today, which would more so to me imply like younger roster player or younger player like a Cowan kind of situation. Probably some more prospects involved in there as well. Like that's the route that you start to look at with that. So I don't think that works. I don't know. The other thing is you got to be careful with is Matthew Knies is the kind of guy you want here. Like Matthew Knies is the kind of player you want a part of this team. I'm not saying he's like 100% untouchable because like if Edmonton calls you and is willing to give you Connor McDavid and like he's going to re-sign here, then yeah, that's a conversation you have. But the package that it would take to get Matthew Knies would have to like blow your socks off, like out of this water. And it's not even something I would personally be willing to entertain at this point. So the answer for me is, again, no. But yeah, it's like, are you getting McDavid? And I'm not saying it's because he's worth McDavid. I'm just saying that's the type of player that you need, right? Like, you've been dying for somebody with this heart and with this power forward ability who can play in your top 6. You finally have it, and now you're just going to give it up? Mishash Williams. I doubt that I said that right, so I apologize, but it says, Zach quit glazing Cowan, nothing special yet. I didn't say anything about Cowan. I'm talking about Knies. As well, we did hit 100 likes here on the post game. We have about 300 people watching, so we could for sure get this thing up to at least 150, maybe 200 as well. The goal that I'm throwing out there to you guys is very attainable. I want 20,000 subscribers by Christmas. We're getting closer, but there's a lot of people who watch this show who are not subscribed. Whether it's the After Dark show, if it's Leafs Morning Take, if it's the reaction videos we put out, if it's our YouTube shorts, all that kind of stuff here on this channel, there's people watching who aren't subscribed. That's got to stop. We're putting out amazing content. We got great guests. We're breaking everything down here every single game. We're on here Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Give us the subscribe on this channel. It's the least you could do. It's the least you could do. I'm sorry to be greedy, but I'm trying to set a goal here of 20K. And I'm going to scratch and claw and fight my way to that 20K. So like, subscribe, comment, share with your buddies, all of that here on the Leafs Nation 401 YouTube channel. Jackie M saying, Knies won't get us Hughes, but it'll get us McDavid. That's not what I said. That's not what I said. That is not what I said. Let's be clear. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying he gets you McDavid and he doesn't get you Hughes. I'm saying you don't want to give up a Matthew Knies because you're dying for a Matthew Knies. You have to get creative other ways for a guy like Quinn Hughes because you're getting defensemen, which changes things. You still need a Matthew Knies. If you're getting McDavid, changes your conversation a little bit. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he gets you one and not the other. I don't want to get radioed on that. Thanks for watching, liking, subscribing. Let's get to 150 likes. Let's get to 20,000 subscribers. Here's the smelling salts. Oh. You know what? Maybe, just maybe, we talk to the powers that be and we do a subscribe-a-thon for one of the games. I don't know if it's a watch-along or a post-game before Christmas, but maybe we do some type of subscribe-a-thon and it can maybe, off the record, don't tell anybody I said this, we'll see what the bosses say, involve some type of drinking. Maybe it has producer Vic come by. Maybe I do it with producer Vic in person. We'll see. We can have that conversation. I apologize for botching your name. I don't even want to try it again because you said I botched it. So that would just be gutless if I even tried it. But yes. What else we got to do here? Let's get to our next caller. He's been waiting for a long time here. Friend of the program for a very long time. Been calling in for a very long time. My guy, Alex A. Alex, how you doing here tonight after this win?
Doing pretty good, Zach. I can't complain. What about yourself?
Doing pretty good as well. Some fun calls here tonight. Glad to get to hear from people. The chat seems to be mostly, I would say like 97% in a positive mood. So seems like we're in a good place right now.
Yeah, did you say 97 because of McDavid or something?
I think that might have just been a subconscious thing that just ended up popping out.
It was just funny. That's the only number you said as a percentage, and it was just funny because you were talking about McDavid and bringing that proposition, which everyone's going to take out of the water. But yeah.
Yes. That's not what I meant. I did not mean Matthew Knies gets you McDavid or whatever and not Quinn Hughes. That's not what I meant. Let's be clear about that. I was just saying situationally, context in terms of what are you trying to give up? What's the piece you're trying to get? And I saw it pointed out, by the way, the Leafs need a puck-moving defenseman. I'm with you on that. I get that. I get it, people. I get it, chat. My whole point is just like, what's the package? Because right now, Knies is the guy you want here. Anyways, we don't need to dig into all of that. What's up, Alex? What are you thinking tonight?
I like the thing I liked about the game, I think, was just the way it reminds me of like a game more of last year, low scoring. You know, it was a 2-0 game. You know, last second of the game we get that goal. empty netter. So basically a 1-0 game in my eyes. And I think Hildeby played on his head. I think he played great. There were some close chances for Tampa. Like, I won't say there wasn't, but I feel like our just play overall has been better on both ends of the ice. I feel like we could have definitely put more goals past their goalie, but that wasn't the
Yeah.
case. Matthews, I thought, was going to score that goal, saved it off the back edge of his stick or whatever you want to call it, and I was like, wow, I thought it was in, but I thought they played pretty good. There's obviously things that can always improve. Play a full 60 always, and but there's a lot of positives to take, and to see how it's been the last few weeks now and the kind of momentum hopefully this team is building. It's obviously a positive thing to see.
It is positive. It is positive. And like, look, I'm with you just in terms of the fact that he's creating these chances, he's having these opportunities. It's nice because early in the season, I mean, other than the fact that there was empty net goals that were being buried, it didn't feel like at 5-on-5 it was maybe this dangerous where like they were coming to this extent and those opportunities were arising to this extent that he's kind of creating for himself now. But there is still those ones where it's like, I watched that 3-on-2 in the third period where he drops it to Knies. Like, that should not be one that should not be a play he's making the pass on. I know the one against Montreal on Saturday night where he steps in around the top of the circle, curling back down towards the net, like on a little hitch. And as he comes down just inside the top of the circle, he looks, and he dishes off back to the corner. And you're like, that should be a shot. And in years past, it's probably a goal. And, I look at this one tonight and it's like, again, I'm not trying to shit on the guy. It's just like, that's Jonas Johansson, and you're taking a shot on a 2-on-1 that you're not beating him, or you're missing the net, or it's hitting his stick, or like you look at the opportunities tonight for Matthews. On one hand, I'm happy they're there, and on the other hand, there's this back of my brain concern that maybe we're at a point where like he just can't score the same way. And obviously the 69 goal season, a lot of luck has to go your way, a lot of bounce have to go your way. It's not me trying to shit on the guy here on the post game. I know it's going to get taken out of context a little bit, but like it's more so just a matter of at that point when you watch him and you see those plays where it's like he's just off. He was also just off on a lot of shit last year. He's also just off on a lot of stuff into the playoffs, and you start to wonder, like, okay, is he just now just off? Like, is that what it is? He's just off. He can still be an amazing player, but he's not a 40, 50 goal scorer every single year. I don't know. I'm not saying that's what he is, but that's when you see stuff like this carry on for a long time, certainly, especially for someone like myself, it can start to creep in that concern can start to creep in that's a possibility. That's all I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, honestly, like you just mentioned, a lot of luck and things have to bounce your way for a 69 goal season and, a 60 goal season. Like, realistically, if he could even be a 50 goal scorer, like, and be as sound as he is in his own zone and all that, like, I'd be satisfied with that, but he just doesn't look like that guy right now. Like, he looks like, I don't know, 35, 40 goal guy. Like, if he could get into the 50, like, let's just say theoretically, if he's like a 50 goal guy and playing as well as he is in his own zone, then great, and looking dynamic and being a threat. He just doesn't look like that much of a threat, like you mentioned. He's not taking those shots that he should be taking. It's like, I don't know why. I honestly don't want to hate on the guy, and I'm not trying to, because I've always liked him as a player a lot. But, like, I'm just being honest as a fan here and what I see on the ice, and the product in the ice is not the guy from 2 years ago that we remember. So whatever it is unfortunate to see, and who knows if he'll ever become better like how he was. Like, I'm curious, but as far as we're aware, this is what it is for the time being, and I'm not going to expect anything different unless, I don't know, he just shoots out of a cannon or something, which I highly doubt. But
Yeah.
please blow my mind. Please blow my mind. I'd love to be proven wrong, and I'm sure you would
Yeah.
too.
I'm with you, man. This is one I would want to be proven wrong here as well. I would. What else is going on here for you tonight, Alex? What else are you thinking and feeling about this game?
So I think let's talk about Lawton a little bit. I thought Lawton had a good game. He's just been effective since he's come back, and he's, these last stretch of games have looked really good, and I just think he's He's done everything you've wanted him to do. He didn't score today, but that's not what his role is, to score every game or anything. So I thought he looked effective. Troy Stetcher still, I don't know, the unsung hero. He's been good.
No kidding. Holy fuck.
Yeah,
I was calling Oliver Ekman-Larsson the unsung hero. At this point, it might be Troy Stetcher taking that role.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, Jake McCabe, amazing night from him. I thought
Yeah.
was good other than the penalty, but like outside of that, like Troy Stetcher just continues to be this solid presence back there. It's fucking unbelievable.
I think he saved 2 goals. If I recall, he saved, I think, for sure one. I thought he saved the
sure
second,
one.
but he for sure
Yeah.
one. Yeah, like I thought he had a great game. He's had great games. Anyways, don't need to go too much on about him other than just very impressed.
Yeah.
And McCabe, yeah, you said it earlier, best game of the season from him. He was physically involved. He was sound defensively. He was moving the puck pretty decently too. Like I can't
Yeah, he
lie.
was.
Like so even though in the offensive zone he was looking pretty effective for what we expect from Jake McCabe. And who else? Oh, Knies. I thought Knies had a pretty good game. A quiet game, but I thought he had a good game. He was winning puck battles. He was winning some pucks in the defensive zone. Like I just thought he looked effective. You know, not every game you're gonna be, you know, getting on the point sheet and all that, but like I noticed him. You know what I mean? He passed the eye test, and you know, for what he makes and what we expect of him, he's been great. So trying to think of anything else that really caught my eye. I just like Willie to be better. That's one thing I'll say. Willie needs to be better. And we talked about Austin, but like Willie, I don't know, like what's up with him? That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. Yeah, like I mean, so what like so on one hand, what you're getting is very positive because you're getting contributions from the rest of the lineup. Now, that's not to say like that's not to say this team is scoring 6 goals a night and it's all coming from your bottom 6. But it's positive that you're getting goals from and production from your bottom 6. Like it's nice to see your Dakota Joshuas and Nick Waugh, Bobby McMann, and Scott Laughtons, and these guys be guys who are able to step into your lineup, contribute offensively, score goals, and you don't have to rely on your big boys, Matthews, Nylander, throw Knies, throw Tavares in that conversation to be able to score every single night for you to have a chance to win. Like, to be able to have that pressure alleviated helps a lot. And you look at early in the season when they were winning some of these games, getting points by going to overtime, whatever it was, even in some of the ones that they were losing, but they were in them, you're looking at the score sheet after, and it's like, well, there was Nylander, there was Tavares, there was Knies, and then you look at like the bottom 6 and you're just like, nothing from anybody. Now you're getting that production from the rest of the group. You're getting these guys stepping up and helping out, being able to produce and put up points and generate offense. And even if they're not generating offense, they're dangerous and they're bringing a B game to the table, which then helps set up the table for the 1 and the 2 lines to come out to be able to then capitalize on those opportunities, take advantage of icings and tired groups and groups who have been hemmed in their zone. Like those things all start to filter through. That said, you want this to all go together at once. You want the big boys to score, and you want the bottom 6 to also be producing and scoring and be playing this way kind of at the same time. Because you look at like Saturday night against Montreal, maybe you walk away with a win. Maybe you walk away with a win in reg. You look at this one here tonight, maybe a decent chance that you walk away 3, 4, 5-0. Maybe Tampa scores something in there. But like, you know, you look at that game, there's probably a couple other chances for these guys to score. You talked about a few of the ones from Matthews. You talked about the Nylander 2-on-1. Talked about the JT post. Like some of those things start going in. We're looking at different scores where all of a sudden you're not thinking, and maybe it's not just maybe it's not us as Leafs fans because we're watching these games, but people outside saying, hey, wow, they squeaked those ones out. It's like, well, no, if you watch the game, they didn't, but score-wise, sure. Then you can get to a point where it's like, hey, they just won that game, and they won 4-0. Because, Bobby McMann and Nick Waugh scored, and so did Auston Matthews, and so did William Nylander. And you're like, wow, clean, bang-up job tonight. Keep it moving. Even like Morgan Rielly, defense, chipping in. But you want these things to all blend together. That's the only thing for me, but it is a positive to see production coming from the bottom 6, 1,000,000,000%.
Yeah, no, couldn't agree anymore. I wanted to ask you on X or Twitter, I still call it Twitter. Did you see what the Leafs posted about like 45 minutes ago with Dennis Hildeby in the belt, or you haven't
That's
seen it yet?
No, that's funny you brought that up because I was going to show it to everybody here on the channel after you got off. But if you give me 3 seconds,
Yeah, yeah.
I'll bring it up here and show everyone what you're talking about because you teasing that is going to make people horny who don't see things online all the time and want to know what the hell you're talking about. Because I saw a comment as well bringing up the fact that bringing up if
I know
I
you're gonna
found
say.
Anthony Stolarz in the witness protection program.
He's not in Australia. He's not in Australia.
He's not in Australia. There you go. There is your post-game belts picture. And for those listening on the podcast, which, by the way, you can listen on podcast to this show on the Leafs Nation After Dark podcast feeds, wherever you get your podcast. But for those listening, you can see it there. Artur Zaktiemov on the left in his gear. Second from the left, Joseph Woll in his street clothes. Dennis Hildeby with the belt, and Anthony Stolarz with his street clothes as well. Positive sign he's not in Australia. He's at the rink. All 4 goalies are at the rink. So I think that's a positive, Alex. That's a win.
Yeah, when I saw it on Twitter, it was hilarious. People were like, "Oh, like the first time we've probably seen Stolarz in a month." I don't think we've seen him, heard anything other than him not skating. So I mean, I guess it's good he's around the team. I guess I don't know. Like,
Yeah, it's
I'll
good.
take it as a
I think it's
positive, I
good.
guess. Like, I don't know if that means he's close at all. Like, if he's gonna be practicing maybe next week, I don't know. But at least to see him, it's a positive thing, I guess. But it's funny seeing 4 goalies there. You're seeing 4 of our goalies throughout our system, from first string all the way down to fourth string goalie, which is I think is just hilarious. Just to sum up the Leafs season with the injuries and literally being down to our third string goalie, and he's dude. Have you looked at his stats? Have you looked at Hildeby's stats after tonight, like in the NHL?
Career stats or this season are you talking
This
about?
season, this season.
No, but I saw stats posted before, so I should look at this right now. I'm hoping these
yeah.
are updated. Right now, I'm seeing a 2.51 GAA and a 927 save percentage, but that's the stats that I saw before this game.
Yeah,
so,
I think that's not updated, but it's still that's insane. But it's even better now, obviously after the shutout.
sometimes
Which
the NHL. Look, I'm just gonna call it what it is. Sorry to anybody from the NHL who might be watching. If anybody is watching, I don't know if anybody gives a fuck enough to watch to the post game or care what I have to say, but sometimes these guys just fuck right off when it comes to like updating stats quickly. Like why? Why can't we get new information fast? Okay, there you go. 9 games played, 2 wins, 9 games played. He came in relief a lot. 1 shutout, 2.15 GAA now, 936 save percentage according to the NHL website.
Yeah, and I think
Crazy.
if I recall after on Twitter, I think someone said that's might be like right now like the highest in the league save percentage. I think.
Oh, really?
Don't quote me. I thought I read that somewhere that it might actually be the highest save percentage in the league. Obviously, it's not crazy amount of games, but still 9 games is still 9 games. So, and obviously it's been a lot of games he's been relieving for Joseph Woll or even Stolarz, right?
So
But,
as of right now, Jesper Wallstedt is listed at a 936 save percentage. So Dennis Hildeby's 936 would tie him. I
There you
don't
go.
know what the game requirement would be on this, but yeah, Hildeby finds himself now tied with Jesper Wallstedt.
couldn't have written that on our
What a
bingo
fucking-
card before the year.
No, what a turn of events. Yeah, if you told me before the season started that Dennis Hildeby would be tied with the league lead in save percentage by like game 30, I would have told you you were fucking high. But wow, unbelievable. All right, Alex, you got anything else for me here before you go?
That's really it. We play what Thursday, I think, is next, right? Next game
Thursday against San Jose.
Well, guys, I'm not too confident. I think we're gonna lose that one because it's San Jose with the way the Leafs are. But you never know.
Historically, that would you would be
Be
correct. I
Leafy.
would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you never know. You never know. I'm just saying that's just a weird gut instinct. I hate being negative, as you know. I usually try to be pretty level headed, but we'll see. So we'll see on Thursday. I'll definitely call in. And yeah, I think that was really it for the game. Talked about, I think, everything I wanted to talk about. And let's all go to bed tonight happy. Just put it that way, guys. And I'm sure Zach will be going to bed nice and relaxed tonight instead of all fired up, or at least shoot. I hope so.
We'll see.
I'll be,
There's another caller waiting.
yeah, I
after
know.
you.
I know. I'm not. I'm not gonna say anything else, but I'll definitely be tuning in for this. Don't you worry. But I hope all you guys stay in the stream here. I'm just pointing it out.
All right, Alex. Thanks for
thanks,
calling, buddy. I'll see you on Thursday.
I'll see you on Thursday. Thanks, Zach. Have a good one.
All right, there you go. You too. Alex A joining us here on the post game show. Pretty much every game now. We got regulars here on the post game show. It's kind of funny. I did see brought up. Somebody in the chat had asked. Brought up about the Leafs Talk radio show and back in the day. And it's kind of funny because I'll give a little, I don't know if anybody actually even cares about this, but a little like reason why I want to do this. When I was growing up, I used to play hockey and lacrosse, and when I was younger, I would play soccer as well. And if you know anything about the way things work here now, you don't get to do just one at a time, really. You have to do both, and there's a lot of ice time and a lot of practice and a lot of training. So a lot of times I would miss Leafs games. So my dad, while I was at practice, would watch the games, and then we would get in the car after, and he would turn on the radio, and I would know what happened with the Leafs because we would listen to the post-game show. And I would hear people call in. I would hear people lose their minds. I would hear people get fired up. I would hear people after, like a 3-game win streak talk about winning the Stanley Cup. So when I was growing up and figuring out what I wanted to do and starting doing my own post-game show, I was like, this is kind of what I want to bring back. I want people to be able to call in just like we had in the old days, because I feel like that kind of has died a little bit. We don't have that anymore. So I figured that was something that would be fun to do. To this point, it has been extremely fun. But one thing I saw that was brought up was Mike in Buffalo, who used to call into the show. Mike from Buffalo will be likely. I was gonna save it as a surprise, but you guys are talking about it constantly here in the chat, so I'm gonna throw it out to people right now. I believe we're going to have Mike from Buffalo join us on the show on Thursday following the game. I talk to Mike from Buffalo pretty regularly. I got to meet him. I believe we're just trying to sort it out, but I believe he's going to call into the show on Thursday and give his thoughts on the Leafs game against the Sharks, which I'm really, 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 really happy that there's so many people here in this chat right now who know who he is and are bringing him up here on the post game, because I kind of feel like for a lot of you guys, that'll be kind of a cool moment, because you guys will have experienced him before and will know who he is. And now me, as this young idiot who comes onto the post game and just spews nonsense for a while, having Mike from Buffalo call in will be a little bit of a legitimizing moment for maybe some of you guys. So I think that'll be a pretty cool moment. It's going to be a cool moment for me regardless, but I believe we're working on Thursday right now. But yeah, so that's something that we'll have. And yeah, I see you guys say everyone knows Mike from Buffalo. So yeah, working on having Mike from Buffalo on the Thursday show. All right, we have one more caller here, but before I get to the next caller, just quickly for people, I want to get to our best bet segment. Our best bet is a presentation of Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Use code NATION. That's NATION, code NATION, NATION. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you're someone you know has a gambling problem, visit connectsontario.ca. Yeah, you guys. Okay, our best bet tonight loses again. This one, I honestly am happy I lost because we got the game that we did. But it was a Nick Paul anytime goal. I'm not even going to spend that long on it. I'll just say, quite honestly, I'm tired of losing the bets. I'm tired of this losing streak. I can't even figure out what the hell we're going to do. We'll try our best to bounce back on Thursday. But this one tonight, I was like, it feels like one of those games where the Leafs lose because it's Jonas Johansson, and why would things go our way? Why would we get this? So why would that happen? And then I was like, Nick Paul, it's just like the Josh Anderson thing where he always finds a way to score against the Leafs. Like Nick Paul always finds a way to score against the Leafs. Let's just go with it so that we can at least profit off the misery. And didn't happen. But they won, so I'm happy about it. We are 18 likes away here from another set of smelling salts, so make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications right here on the Leafs Nation 401 so you don't miss anything on the Leafs Nation After Dark show or Leafs Morning Take happening right here on the channel as well. With that, let's now get to our next caller here on the postgame show. Everybody's been waiting for him. There's no name that's been said or word that's been said in the chat more than his throughout the course of the night here and probably over the last little while. Welcome to the program, Prague. Prague, how's it going?
Good. I'm sorry you're losing, man. At least Holmberg didn't score.
Yes, I mean Holmberg was the one I was ready for the Holmberg one, but I was ready for the Holmberg one, but the Nick Paul one was the one I was thinking was like, it's the Josh Anderson effect. And I know people don't like it and the fact that I bet on a Tampa player here tonight, but I think if people logically think about it, Nick Paul finds a way to score against the Maple Leafs. It just happens.
No, true, but we tend to beat at least in the regular season.
Yes, yes, that's true.
So I honestly thought this was their best game of the season by far. Yes. I think Matthew looks his best, but he doesn't look like Matthews. So I'm still scared about that. Honestly, I think the whole turnaround is because of how good, not only the fact that we picked up Stetcher, the fact that we got Woll, unfortunately played 8 of 9, coming cold, and now we have Hildeby. So our goalies are basically saving our ass, but tonight we actually played a very good game, and I haven't seen McCabe look good early on in the season, but the last few games he's started to look more like himself, just that mean dickhead who can skate, pass, everything else. And I think Stetcher, I just love competitive players. I don't care what size they are, and if they work, even if they're not the fastest player, if they work their ass off and they do something positive, right?
Yep.
So I now have three defensemen that I don't want to trade ever. And one's McCabe, one's OEL, and the other one's Stetcher. So I think that's great. And yeah, I think it was a full team game. I thought it was a really good game generally. I'm not putting any eggs in the basket. I'm still trade as many people because we just don't have anything coming up. I don't trust what's going to happen later this year. I don't trust what's happening next year. But I thought this was a good game. I don't think it had anything to do with Berube or Savard. And I don't think when everybody was complaining about Lalonde about the defense, that was not his fault. It was just what happened, right? Because I think Lawton's made a big difference because of his personality in the room, but also just the way he plays. I think Stetcher's done a great job. I think.
Well, also I'll jump in, and sorry to cut you off, but I'll jump in on it. I think that there's a few components to it. One would be just actual effort. I'm sorry to say to these guys, but the reality is that when you watch what they did at the beginning of the season, you watch what they've done tonight. Again, I don't personally think the game on Saturday was that bad. I think it was a terrible second period that got them behind the 8 ball, and then a bad first 10 minutes in the third period that were pretty bad, and then they kind of started to stabilize. But, then looking back to Thursday against Carolina, Tuesday against Florida, Saturday, the previous Saturday against Pittsburgh, like, you see those games, and it's like a complete 180 where there's intensity, there's buy-in, there's physicality, there's guys sticking up for each other. All that kind of stuff starts to happen. And it's like, well, now the games are going more your way. And like, not to say that that's just like, I'm not trying to be the like, ooh, work hard, hit guy, like you win kind of like old man, caveman hockey mentality. But you look at these guys like play simple, basic hockey and fucking work hard and battle, and all of a sudden you're more competitive and you're winning games. And it's like, well, no shit. Like, you see them pay more attention to detail and the defensive game gets better. It's like, well, fuck, yeah, that happens. And then the other thing that I'll say, as well, as you were kind of like bringing up there and alluding to, but, one thing I think happens is Nic Robertson was finding his footing, and he got injured, so then he leaves, and then that hurts that line. And then Scott Laughton was injured for the whole beginning of the season. He comes back in here. That stabilizes his line. Nic Robertson comes back. It stabilizes his line. Those are two guys who play with attention to detail. They're responsible. They're guys who can carry the puck and have some offensive upside, have some skill. They're guys you can rely upon in the dot, in matchup situations. Now all of a sudden you're looking at maybe you don't have to rely upon Matthews and Tavares to take so many draws in your own zone, because those guys can be trusted, and it starts to clean things up when it comes to the defensive side of the puck. And then additionally, throw a guy like Troy Stecher in there. Jake McCabe at points was playing with Morgan Rielly. He was playing with Simone Benoit. He was playing Philippe Myers. And unfortunately, I don't think Philippe Myers is really an NHL caliber defenseman. I think Simone Benoit is probably a guy who's a good 6'7". He's not a guy who's, your 4, a guy who's your 5. I think that's a miscasting. And then that puts a lot more pressure on Jake McCabe. Now Troy Stecher comes in here and makes Jake McCabe better. It stabilizes him a little bit. So, some of these pieces coming back together starts to get you back in the right direction and kind of level things out.
So I agree for the most part, but I think a lot of the issues, I think you can, even at the NHL level, you could work really hard, but if you keep changing the lines, you keep changing your partnerships, you keep changing everything just because one player's out, and even with the defense, he was doing this, you don't have any consistency. What's another major factor is for the last 4 or 5 games, maybe 5 games now, they've had consistent lines generally. So I personally think it takes time to develop chemistry. But if you look at, everybody hates me saying this, but look at what Domi's doing. He saved a goal today by the cross seam pass. He ran back and got it done. Matthews is requesting him to be on his line for a reason.
Yeah, which I think is a mistake. He's not a top 6 player, but...
Well, okay, listen. You can have a disagreement with Auston Matthews. I personally will go with what he wants to do. If he makes him more comfortable, if he makes him happy, fuck it. I'm a hockey fan and a Leafs fan. Sometimes I love great hockey, and often the Leafs are not that. But especially this
year. I mean, that's fair, but to the same point, Connor McDavid is also asking for Calvin Pickard and for Darnell Nurse to still be on his team, and those are two guys who are bringing them down. So, sometimes
who's going to trade for Darnell Nurse?
Well, they're working on getting those guys out of there. The point is that Connor McDavid does not want them gone. So whether you're talking about if anybody would trade for them, the point is more so they want them there because they're buddies with them. So
McDavid tells you to, if you're disagreeing with Connor McDavid, and I believe Auston Matthews is kind of important to this team. If you're complaining about this, I don't know what you're going to say, because truthfully, Domi has not looked more engaged until the last few games when he started playing with him. And I want him to look engaged. He's been passing. He's been doing everything he can. Whether you notice or not, that's fine. But I've noticed. I think pretty much most of the Leaflands noticed. And just like you dumping on Waugh earlier or Dakota Joshua. I've watched them play. I watch a lot of hockey just because I'm going through some health issues right now. But even then, I watch them play, and just like Michelli, like if you put them on multiple fucking lines, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to get anything. But you put people on consistent lines. But what freaks me out is why is Myers here? Benoit is okay 7-8. I don't even think he's a regular six. Maybe in the playoffs because he comes to light then. But last year during the regular season, he sucked. Um, Matt Benning's come back. He's played a lot of regular games until he got injured a couple years ago. But his first game back in the AHL, he played. He got 2 points. Whatever. There's people we can get, we can use. Jet Wu is on freaking waivers. There's people who like you don't give chances to. Dude, you don't like that attitude. Okay, let's not go
Oh
for
my God,
Stetcher
we're
then.
on. We're on.
I'm saying we who we're gonna lose right now. Mermis, I loved how Mermis played. He kept the third pair quiet. Um, and so like he played well. That was a dirty ass hit. I
Yes,
pray
yes, it
it's
was.
nothing too bad. I pray because look at how well Simone Benoit looked. Did you notice anything stupid tonight? Did it feel like a Myers night? No. Murmis quieted it down. He can play both sides. He's left shot. I don't care. And it was the
Yes,
best
yes,
time.
I agree.
So
I,
like I think I just want to make sure that like Myers, he's in a pinch, you use him. But I just don't think I think there's a lot of other players that we need to bring up and use. And I like how it's going, but I don't think it's Berube's. I think it's the team. I think the team is finally like they stood up for each other a lot today, and they've been doing that recently. And I think it's because of the players they brought in, but also um, just the fact that they're starting to play to well and they're starting to have stability on their lines. And I think that makes a huge difference. Stetcher, Lawton, yes, but Lawton, if you're missing a 4C and that's why you're going down, just pack it up. Pack it up. He's a great player. He's great in the room, but like, and I wanted him to get another goal, but I don't think he's the reason that we were losing. I just think I'm looking forward to the next game, see how it
hmm
goes. I'm looking forward to what's going to happen.
hmm
Um, I just don't trust the management group, and I don't trust the coaching staff.
That's
I
fair.
don't think they do. Like the thing is, um, I've seen what they've done last year. I didn't like how they played last year because we were getting caved. This is the first time we won without really getting caved. We got caved in the first period a little bit, but it was not as bad. And that might be because Tampa was not as they're having a lot of players coming in and out, and they're not quite gelling yet. And they're on a 4-game losing streak now. So whatever. But I think we had a good game. Um, and is there anything you'd like to discuss specifically? Because like I thought, like our PK is doing well. Our
No, no, I think that's good. I think this pretty good call, Prague. I just
But
I
I
mean
could discuss
I
talent
can't
if you want.
well
He's
I
23rd
can't
in points among rookies, though he's eighth in time on ice per game. And none of the other rookies play with two guys who are elites and who have a whole career of improving the other players on their team. So I personally think, here's the thing: Ryan Leonard played with who's 20 picks ahead, yes, but he played in college for 2, 3 years, whatever it was, and he played with larger players for a long time until he became a beast. Highest goal scorer last year in the NCAA. A lot of these players are doing that. They need to play time with players. He doesn't even have the same number of He doesn't have the same number of points as a rookie on an undrafted rookie on Vegas, who's played 13 games, who's playing third, fourth line minutes. Braden Bowen. So I want him to come out I want him to. That's the whole thing. I want him to develop so well that when he comes back up, he's knocking down Zadorov by swinging his big dick. That's why, because he's so confident and he can do it. But that's you and me are going to disagree because, like, honestly, he does. Like, think about it. Uh, Willie played 22 games as a center for the Leafs. He probably could have played the first year, right after he got picked, but he played the next year, and that was the year they were tanking for what's his face.
I just
And he
I
got 11
disagree.
points
I mean,
playing
he's
center.
learning to play. He's learning the ups and downs.
He
He's
needs to
learning
learn to
not
play
everything is
in the
perfect.
AHL.
Why,
He needs to
Prague?
play against.
Why?
So he
Why?
gets
Why? Who
good
cares?
and becomes. He's the
He's
center.
learning how to play at the NHL level. He looks fine. He's not having the point
But the
production
NHL
right
is not a
now,
learner
but his
league.
line's
The
also
NHL
not right
is not a
now.
learner league for people.
It is right now. It is now that it's changed. Look around the league. How many teams have kids that are coming in and doing this? Like Prague. Honestly, I'm sorry. I just
has
like
what? Like almost
yes,
triple his
he's
points.
yes. I have no.
He plays less
Those guys are
minutes.
better players. Those guys are better players.
They
Demidov is a
play
better
less
player. Like,
minutes with
okay,
like, he's
okay.
playing with Kapanen, another
You don't
rookie.
have to you don't have to measure every single thing with some of these guys with like a rookie like that by points and how many points they get.
No, I'm not looking
You're
at
watching
points.
the
I'm
kid.
looking at how he's playing.
You just had a
I want
whole
him to be the
conversation.
best he
No,
can be.
no. You just had an entire
You don't want him to be
conversation.
the best he can be. You want to
He's
burn
just
him.
he's just had a 3-game little slump here where he hasn't played
Dude,
that well. It can get through it. You're the one who's talking about don't be changing everything. Don't be changing everything. Give confidence.
but the thing
Let
is,
the guy
he's
have
not-
confidence
like,
here.
okay,
Let him play through.
they-
Because
they-
you seem
they-
to be the only guy in the world who's watching this guy to this point to be watching that and being like, oh, he's not playing. He's not good. He's not good. He's not good.
No, I'm not
Like, you're
saying he's
fucking
not good.
jerking
I'm
off
saying
to
I
the
want him to be
idea
the best
of
player he
like
can be.
fucking Jacob
Dude.
Quinlan coming up here and playing on the fourth line.
I don't want
like,
him to be Alexis Lafreniere. I don't want him to be all these other players who were brought in too quickly and not developed properly. Like, the thing is, we've done that too. We've done that with some players, especially defensemen, but like from Luke Shen to what's his face to Riley himself. But the thing is, I want him to have time playing against people, getting his confidence up.
my point is that
then-
he's looked fine. Like he's looked fine. He does not look out of
He hasn't even
place.
caught up
He's-
to the number of points of Robertson, and Robertson did that in like 8 games playing on the same line that he's playing with. And he played less minutes. And Robertson still didn't get to the top line. Why is he in the first PP1? He shouldn't. The PP1 should either has to have somebody who can pass the puck, who can move the puck.
Well, he's not on power play
Better
one.
than him.
He's not on power play one. And Matthew Knies was back on power play one. So
Oh, great.
I don't know.
And now Riley's
So
back on.
so then are you?
But, like, the thing
Oh,
is,
so then are you just not watching
I
them?
love-
Is that what you're
no,
saying?
I
Because
like-
he
I
was
love
on.
Knies.
He
Knies
was
should be
not
there.
on power play
But no-
one. Because Cowan was not on power play
one
one.
game,
So you
one
just
game. Oh,
you just told me that it's because you're watching and you're watching how good, and then you told me that he's on power play one. He's not on power play one.
How many games was he on power play 1?
2.
2?
Then he's
Are you
back
sure?
off. Then he's back off.
He's not on power play.
He got his
one
opportunity.
game.
He got taken
It
off.
was like last week, 2
They
weeks.
moved it.
Oh, finally,
I don't think
great.
so. But anyways,
But the thing is, like,
I think you're just wrong.
what
I think you're
disputing? I just
measuring
wanna
this based
understand-
on point.
what do
You're
you
measuring
think?
this based
Like,
on
is he
points.
getting better?
When you watch the way, yes, he looks like he's maturing. He looks like he's adapting to the NHL game. The points will come. The point production will come.
Dude,
I
I
don't
want him
think
to be
that
the
this is
best
a kid
player.
who needs to go.
And the thing is, you're not gonna like if he
Dude.
plays and kills it in another league. If you kill it in a league that's a men's league, like the AHL, you learn how to play in those things. And also, it's tough because you're playing 3 games in a row on a weekend.
Okay,
Right?
so do you think you learn more to play at the NHL level playing in the NHL or the AHL?
It depends on what type of player you are.
Okay,
I don't
'cause
trust the goalie.
This
stats
is a
in the
kid.
AHL.
Okay, you have
But I
personal
trust,
trust
like,
issues
for
with the coach.
forwards and defense,
You're taking
yes.
that out on the player. That's not fair. The player looks fine.
Okay, what other
He
player
looks-
have we taken up? Okay, what 20-year-old should we leave? Like, what 20-year-old who's doing this? Why would you ever let a player who is not like breaking down the door? Why would you let him play there instead of other people who have shown that they can do it against men, are more developed physically and every other way, and are killing
Dude,
it against men in a league just below? Quillen played 2 games playing 8 minutes. You notice him hit. You notice his speed. You notice his passing. 8 minutes.
we're
He
talking
was
about
he was the offensive
yeah.
player of, like, was it ECAC or whatever it's called in the NCAA.
Prague. I think that's enough of the call here tonight. I appreciate your time. I
Yeah, no, I
can't
do. But the thing
I
is,
can't
that's the only thing is, like, I want him to be the best player, and that's the whole point. He's
what
not
does
going to
that
be the best
mean?
player
What is
by
what is the
playing with
best
the best
player?
player.
What do you
The,
mean the best player? Because right now I
the
think
best
Easton
player he can
Cowan.
be, because he's playing with 2 players who are elite players who can drive their own line and have. But the thing is he ever going to, like? How is he going to, like? I want him to think he's so confident that he thinks he can run his own line. I want him to be a top line player or a top 6 player at least, but I want him to have the confidence to do it without having to have the crutch of Nylander and the crutch of what's his face of JT, who is our #1 center right now, or
Okay.
has been for a while. But, like, my other
Okay.
last point is, um, the one thing, whenever everybody always used to make fun of Nylander for being soft, remember, he played games with migraines due to a concussion. If you look at his last, he plays through stuff. He's playing through something right now that the other guys would sit on. Like, if Matthews has a hangnail comparatively, I'm not saying he does that, but I'm saying because hockey players are fucking tough. But, like, look at how, like, he's going through something right now. He played. There was a season last, like, he was at 40 goals, and then for the last 20 games he couldn't do anything. He had migraines, and then he missed part of the Boston series because of migraines, and it was from a concussion. But they'll never tell you that. However, so I respect the fuck out of Nylander, even if he's not scoring right now. Uh, like, there's no one coming close to in our team, and he's still, like, what, top 10 in the league. So, and I respect JT like you can't believe. So, that's my other point is, like, all the people who are thinking about why is Nylander. Listen, Nylander's doing what he can, and so is JT. Everybody goes through slumps, and they also played a lot and carrying the team on their back. It gets very tiring. So I think, I'm happy for the game tonight. I pray that it's a start, but I still think they need to trade Riley and Benoit because everybody wants a 6'4" fast guy who hits, and whoever else we can get because I think we need depth for long term.
Okay, Prague.
And that's it. Have a good
Thank
night,
you.
eh? And thank you
Thanks.
for doing this. I really appreciate
Yep.
you, Zach, for doing this. Cheers.
No problem. Thanks for calling in. There you go. There's Prague. Um, Look, I don't. I'm not trying to do like I hope it doesn't come across this way. If you guys are in the chat, think that this is not the case, you can tell me. A lot of you guys in the chat are pretty reasonable. I will listen, learn, whatever. I don't think, especially with calls, that I'm a my way or highway, get out of here. I can't do the Cowan conversation that Prague wants to do every night and the Domi conversation because, first of all, like, when it comes to, I just want to say, like, when it comes to Cowan, and I think a lot of people in the chat are with this, and, like, I saw some people just bringing up, like, yeah, he could use time, he could learn, like, whatever. My whole thing with Easton Cowan is, like, I don't watch this guy and feel like that's a player that's out of place. That's a player that's lost. He has shit to work on. He has shit to learn. Like, I'm not saying he's a perfect product, but Matthew Knies came in here and said, and effectively showed, like, he had stuff to work on as well. He had stuff that he needed to figure out. He had stuff he needed to pick up. Like, there were things in his game that needed to get better, and he learned by being at the NHL level. Like, I don't know. Like, I cannot be doing this every single game, and, like, the Leafs just won 2-0 against the Tampa Bay Lightning, and lucky or not, Easton Cowan had the assist on the game-winning goal. And, like, the first thing we're doing with when Prague calls in here is talking about, Jet Wu, and then bringing Easton Cowan to the AHL so he can play 30 minutes so that Jacob Quillen can play on the fourth line. And then Spike there, JT Nylander should be playing with a vet, not a rookie, Zach. Sure, I'm fine with that. Just okay, who's the guy? First of all, you don't have the guy. Second of all, Cowan looks really good in the top 6 right now, so you're fine there. And then, what does it matter? He's learning. He's figuring things out. He's figuring out how to play at the NHL level. He isn't scared. He's highly skilled. He can maneuver his way around the offensive zone. He's learning responsibilities. The coach seems to trust him for the most part. Why not let the guy try? And then the Max Domi thing, he's talking about Auston Matthews requesting him. Working really well. The guy can't score right now. Again, I'm not going to blame Max Domi for it the last 2 nights, but I think Max Domi's actually looked pretty decent in the last 2 games. The whole point is long-term, Max Domi is not a top 6 player. Max Domi is a bottom 6 player. All right, that's all the super chats that we had for the show here tonight. We are 6 likes away from hitting 150 likes here on the postgame show. Make sure to continue to like the stream, subscribe here to the channel, Leaf Station 401 right here on YouTube. For the next one, let's get to our Crave the Stats segment. Crave the Stats, a presentation of Uber Eats. Hit that like button here on the postgame show. We have something special, I believe, for Thursday, but Uber Eats is enabling fans to maximize their fandom all season long with exclusive game day deals on the app. From game day eats to paper plates and napkins if you're hosting, to all the ingredients you need to make your favorite game day dip. Every time the Leafs are playing at home, you can get these exclusive deals in Toronto only on Uber Eats. Firehouse Subs, Bogo Brisket Hat-Trick, Kibo Sushi, Bogo California Roll, Shelby Shawarma, Bogo Traditional Wrap. Bogo, of course, is buy one, get one. Before, during, and after the game, Uber Eats is assisting every fan's hockey experience all season long. You know what? Because he's the subject of tonight's conversation, let's take a look at the stat line for none other than Easton Cowan. So, Easton Cowan in this one here finishes tonight with 16 minutes and 52 seconds of time on ice. He has an assist. He's +1. He finished with 20 shifts, in this game. Easton Cowan also has 2 shots on goal, a blocked shot, 3 hits in this one, and 2 giveaways. So Prague there complaining, size, physicality. He doesn't have that. And then yet there you go. He's got 16 minutes of ice time, 17 minutes almost, and 3 hits, 2 shots, the game-winning assist, and he finishes +1 in this game. Yeah, I see. I don't know. The Cowan thing just drives me nuts. But there are your stats for Easton Cowan here tonight. And again, I'm not trying to say Easton Cowan is playing amazing right now. He's gone through a little bit of a slump over the last little while. Point is, I think he can get this thing back on the rails. And I think you ought to continue to give him a shot. If you're coming here... If you're coming here and we're talking about Matthias Michelli and you think he deserves a spot, I think that ruins credibility a little bit, to be honest. Let's get to our final couple of things. First and foremost, let's get to our play of the game. Play of the game is actually not going to be either of the goals the Maple Leafs scored here tonight. Play of the game is the Troy Stecher save on the goal line. Dennis Hildeby did an amazing job acrobatically to get across and to make saves on some of those first couple of shots. But Dennis Hildeby was also firing rebounds out into the slot like they were hot potatoes. He did not seem to want to grab a hold of one of those. And I'm not trying to shit talk the guy. It just was rebound after rebound that was coming out as he was scrambling across. Tampa was getting continuous opportunities there that were coming. Shot ends up coming up and over Hildeby. And Who is it to come in behind other than Troy Stecher to save the day? Smacks the puck off his backhand, essentially off the line to keep it out of the crease, break up a scoring chance. That one very early on could have turned the tides in the direction of the Tampa Bay Lightning, who had already started to build some first period momentum there. That ends it, and then next thing you know, you're in a lot better of a situation than you could have been early in this game. Troy Stecher, the savior, yet again. Dennis Hildeby makes some pretty amazing saves. Like, everything starts to snowball in the right direction for the Maple Leafs here tonight following that, and it's Troy Stecher yet again. Troy Stecher yet again, who steps up and makes some amazing play or does something where he becomes the hero in this one. A couple shout-outs here would go to... Jake McCabe for physicality here tonight and just the general play that he was playing with. You know, he had a couple of big hits. Simon Benoit had a big hit there as well. But it was also just breaking up plays in the neutral zone, breaking up plays as soon as guys were trying to cross the blue line, like neutralizing threats before they could even get to the top of the circles. I thought Jake McCabe had... I thought Jake McCabe had an outstanding night in this one here. Shout out to Dakota Joshua for the fight. Crazy situation. The knee in the corner, 5 minutes deserving. I would agree. It's bad when you watch it back because they were both moving slowly enough that you're watching Mermis like not jump out of the way. He just kind of like steps towards the pass, and Gonzalez just continues to go forward and just like goes right through his knee. And like, you know, that's when you can kind of say, okay, yeah, like he didn't like lean into that, or he didn't like he just went straight to the knee and took out the knee of Dakota Mermis. So we'll see what happens with him going forward. And then, you know, you just watch this kind of kerfuffle take place where it's like McMann chases down. There's a battle back and forth going on. Stupid decision by Bobby McMann. Wires just crossed where he just goes two-hand over the head of Bjorkstrand. It wasn't a crazy slash, but I just disagree with people early on who were bringing up the point like, oh, it wasn't anything bad. It was soft. He had two hands on his stick and he hit him over the head. You got to get kicked out. I'm sorry, but you got to get kicked out if you're ever going to do that. Automatic ejection for Bobby McMann for that, and then it turns into a Dakota Joshua fight with neither of the guys who are involved. Gonzalez, who lays the hit, and Bjorkstrand, who gets slashed over the head. It's neither of them who are in the fight, and Dakota Joshua goes up there, and all of a sudden you're just watching Dakota Joshua like man strength. I'm not going to pretend that Dakota Joshua went in there and had an amazing fight, but you could see some strength and some toughness come out of the guy in that fight. So I'll give him credit there. It seems like ever since Rosie had the rant on the show a couple weeks ago, he seems to have awoken something in Dakota Joshua. And I don't know if it's him watching the show or if he's watching clips or what, but he seems to have found something. So credit to him. Final thing here, grade of the game. You guys send your grades into the show chat there. I want to see what you guys are thinking, how you guys feel about this one. I want to know where Leafs Nation is at after this game. So send in your grades of the game. My grade for this one, I think, is going to be, I think I'm at an A. A+ would have been if you could have scored more. By the way, I just love that this chat has no ability to like understand like a joke or something. No, 6 1/3. No, Rosie has nothing to do with it. LOL. Okay, no shit. Like fuck. Anyways, I saw that. It made me pause. Like no fucking shit. This for me is an A. It can't go to the A+ because I think A+ probably warrants like 3 or more goals. I know it's kind of like a stupid rule, but like if you could have provided more offensively and specifically the power play, then yeah, A+. But power play doesn't come through for you here on this one. You had opportunities. Didn't look good. You shut out Tampa. Another win here puts you into the conversation to get back into like a playoff picture in the Atlantic. Like it's just sitting now at 32 points. You're ahead of Florida, Ottawa, Buffalo. By the way, if you're a Leafs fan right now, don't use this one on Ottawa fans yet. Keep it back pocket. Remember all those tweets that they were saying. Remember everything they were bringing up when they were talking about, look at the Leafs all the way back there. They're in last place. Remember that. Back pocket it. But, ahead of the Sens here now. And that would put the Leafs 1 point behind the Habs, 2 points behind the Boston Bruins, 2 points behind the Lightning, and 3 points behind the Detroit Red Wings. So, for me in this one, Dennis Hildeby, outstanding night, first career shutout, first shutout for the Maple Leafs this season. I mean, there's tons of positives that come out of this one. Easton Cowan, game-winning assist. Easton Cowan, give it up for Easton Cowan. Top 6 forward for your Toronto Maple Leafs right now. Very deserving of a spot. He works hard. He's learning. The guy deserves the opportunity. He deserves to be here. Give it up for Easton Cowan with the game-winning assist tonight in this one. Never giving up on a play, right spot, right time, getting that pass, having the right presence of mind to try to go backdoor. Obviously gets broken up a little bit, but goes on the tape. Morgan Rielly and he buries. Give it up for Easton Cowan for that one. This is a positive night, I think, as a Leafs fan. And for the Maple Leafs, the guys in that room, they should be happy with this one. So thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. A little bit of a break here now until we get to the next post-game show. We will be back on Thursday for another game preview, breaking everything down leading into the game. Check that one out here on this channel. Leafs Nation 401 right here on YouTube to break everything down leading into the game. Lines, who's in, who's out, who's going with who. Goaltenders, all of that coming up on Thursday's game preview right here on this channel. And then post-game show, Leafs Nation After Dark. Mike in Buffalo, I believe, will be joining us on Thursday following the game. Thanks to everyone who watched, liked, commented, subscribed. Appreciate your support as always. I will be back on Thursday for all of that. See you guys then. Thanks for watching, liking, subscribing. And as always, keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take, Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos, make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.